Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Semi-Professional Academic Podcast. As always, I'm your host with the most, Dr. Pepper in my fridge, Jacob Watts. And joining me today is an icon, a legend, and my freshman year party ride or die homie, Olivia Ellson. Olivia, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me. And oh my gosh, that intro was beautiful. I feel so lucky and blessed.
Oh, I hate my intros always, but it's my shtick. I love introducing and hyping up my guests. That's the only part of it. That's the only part of it I like. But oh my gosh, Olivia, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so happy that you're here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Me too. I could go in, but I'm really trying to make a conscious effort. We're 5 episodes in to season 2 by now, I think. So like not starting off great, but we're trying here. I really want to stress, like, I obviously know Olivia, but Olivia, for the people who may not be as familiar with you, would you mind just giving them a little bit of kind of like icebreaker background info about you so they can like kind of paint the narrative like a little bit in your mind?
So, as Jacob mentioned, my name's Olivia. We met freshman year at Hanover College in undergrad. Um, I am from Indianapolis, kind of on the east side of Indy, and just, yeah, have crazy life, crazy family, all a bunch of crazy stuff going on.
Honestly, though, like I don't think this is gonna sound awful. I don't think I've attracted a sane person into my life at all because they're just not fun.
And the energy, it just doesn't mesh well. You got to have people that got crazy stuff going on to mesh with your crazy, and it's good.
I
That's
know.
good.
And like Olivia and I have talked about it. Like we're just like I got the generational craziness like in me. Like it's part like there's like some DNA coding somewhere like being passed down. And I think like yeah. Can you relate to that, Olivia, or is that
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think that's kind of what we like bonded a lot over. I feel like too when we were at Hanover. It's just we both had some crazy things going on, so we were like, "Yep, this is a good friend. This is my person."
fact facts? And I want to talk about it because this is a little shady, but this is my show. So I met Olivia through a mutual friend
Yes, we
because
did.
Olivia was rooming with that said friend.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is bringing back so many memories.
Like, is it a war flashback or?
Flashback per se, but just great, like a crazy time of my life.
Needless to say, that friendship didn't work out.
Oh, it did not. And I actually even forgot that that's how we met, honestly, because I feel like we hit it off so well outside of the initial meeting that I just forgot that was even how we met.
No, do you remember like the first time we met? Because I do. It was so weird. Because one thing about me is I never know how to meet people ever. Like ever. I'm like that soup you try like the first day and you're like, I don't know. And then you leave it in the fridge, but then like once like the fridge like chills it all down, all the flavors come together, you're like, this is fucking amazing.
Um,
You're like, you just gotta get through like that first time with me and then like you'll be fine.
Fair,
Yeah.
fair.
But do you remember it or not?
I don't I don't remember exactly how we met. I feel like I almost blacked out freshman year, honestly. Like there's a lot of stuff I don't remember
Honestly, same.
from freshman year. There's so much where I'm like, I don't even really remember that, but if you're saying it, then it must have happened.
Okay, so people, you're 18, you don't know, like you're at college, like you really don't know. And then at the time I was pre-med, and so like there was this health sciences program, like kind of like promo meeting, like letting you know what it is. And this mutual friend said, "Oh yeah, my roommate Olivia's going." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, well, like, like I'll just go say hi to her, it'd be nice to meet her." And I remember this is so fucking cringy. I found you on Instagram and I DM'd you and I was just like, "Hey, I'm Jacob. I'm so and so's friend. Are you like a roommate?" She goes, "Yeah." And Olivia was so chill. Like one thing about Olivia is like she I think you are literally like one of the easiest people to meet because you're like just so like, "Yo, what am I?" Blah, blah, blah.
Very true. I just feel like I hate when things are awkward and I hate being in uncomfortable situations. And so if I even feel like an ounce of that, I do anything. I'm like, okay, let's make this comfortable. Let's make them comfortable. Like let's try to just make this as chill as possible and go from there.
And that's one of the reasons why I fucking love you, dude. Because like I've not been chill a day in my life. Like my heart stopped like the minute I was born. So like it's
Just from then, it's just been going on.
just from then it's been like panic 24/7. But like I really like appreciate that because like I always feel like I'm the one that like puts usually I feel like I'm the one that usually puts like a lot of like effort into meeting new people, making friends. And Olivia like really kind of was just like, dude, chill. And like brought me in and it was just like so welcoming. It was fantastic.
That's so sweet to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I was so glad we were friends because long story short, we were in like this biology class together.
Oh gosh, yeah. See, see, I do remember that class. Like that kind of stuff is like ingrained in my brain forever. Yes. Oh God.
And I love the professor and like I completely want to separate that. This isn't like a critique on her at all. I
Yeah.
loved her. There was just so much stuff going on. We were in the same friend group and there was I love everyone like in that like no bad blood, like no beef. But can we be real?
I
It,
feel the same way. I love everyone. I also love that professor too. So
yeah,
that's-
for real. It was just it was so wild. Like this group, someone would get mad and we wouldn't see them for like a week and then it'd come back like nothing's wrong. Like we didn't talk about nothing.
it's very freshman year of college drama too, is what it was. It was always something like something small, nothing too crazy, just like someone got pissed and then that was it. And then a week later everything was fine.
Yeah, like but we never talked about anything.
Oh, sure.
And it's so weird now because now all we want to do is talk about everything.
Mhm. That's very true.
It was just so funny to me. But no, I'm glad I had like Olivia there because there was this. I don't know. I feel like we were able to read each other very easily.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And like I remember one time the other people in the friend group were like had like we're going at it, and I looked at Olivia like mentally communicating like what the fuck do we do?
And may I remind you, like with this group, it was never like me and Jacob never had any issues. It was never us like together against each other or anything. It was always just like there's something going on with one of us or somebody else or like the other people. There was just always some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, there was never. It's weird. It's weird. You and I never had like any beef or anything.
No, never.
And I just and it's not and I feel like out of like the four of us, like I feel like the two of us were like the most honest, be like, this has me feeling some type of way.
Yeah, true.
And
I
again,
think that might be why, like the other people in the group, like might have bumped heads so often. Is just because they had trouble sharing. Like, okay, this has me messed up, or like, I don't like this, things like that.
yeah. Again, this is no shade, like no bad blood, like whatever. Like all love, like wishing you the best. We just being real, like we just saying what happened.
But yeah, and everyone in that group, like, I loved that friend group, and honestly, like, wouldn't have made it through my freshman year without it. So, like, definitely no bad blood or anything.
Yeah, I still have pictures of us like going out on the phone.
Same.
There's this one infamous picture. And yeah, I'm gonna say it. Our freshman year, because we were both on like some sort of medical track. So we had to
Yeah,
take Gen Chem and Gen Bio the same year, which if y'all know, that will fuck you up a little bit. Like,
so bad.
and then one time they had the nerve to put a Gen Chem night exam on, which is always on Thursdays at 7 p.m. And then we had a bio exam on Friday at 9 a.m. Do you remember this? You remember
Yeah,
this,
I have like PTSD from it, honestly.
right? Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah. So like I was and like all four people in this group was on the medical track.
Mhm.
So we were all like, okay, so we taking the L in chemistry or we taking the L in bio? Because we ain't doing well in both. Like we gotta with- and it's I feel like that's a lot of like what college is. Just be just be like, okay, where can I take the L this week? Where
Yep,
can I
you
afford it?
choose your battles. Choose your battles and go from there.
And I never forget this. It was like a Monday, and we had an exam like next Friday. And I asked Olivia, I was like, "Hey, like, how you doing?" She goes, "LOL, at that exam I fail next week." And I was like, "That is such a fucking mood."
Crazy too is I learned this in college quick. Like, if I ever said I was like, I'm not going to pass this exam, like, that meant I'm not going to pass that fucking exam. Like, I'm not one of those chicks where it's like, oh, I'm going to fail and then I get an A. It's like, nah, if I'm like, no, I'm going to fail, I'll be blessed if I get like a C minus on it or something. Like, it's bad.
No, because that's so real, and like those bitches piss me off. Like they'd be like,
No, for real. They'd be pissing me off too because I'm like, nah, if I say I'm gonna fail, I'm probably gonna fail it.
no, and it's okay if it's like a fluke and like you get like a B or something, and you're like, "Oh my God, fantastic!" But if you do it every fucking time,
Yeah,
no offense, I'm rooting for your downfall.
literally, like, cause what?
Like,
I feel like you're gonna fail and then you get 100. That makes no sense.
oh no. I literally one of my best friends. I'm not gonna say who because like I'm interviewing her later. So like so y'all stay tuned to figure out who it is. She's actually on this season. But she would literally do that in fucking chemistry. And I don't know about you, but like me and chemistry never got along. Like if I got a B minus, I was like, I rock that shit.
Literally, and for our chem, we had this stupid part on every exam where you had 10 questions and you had to name whatever what is it? Like the like the,
No, you had to name them. Like give the
like,
compound.
yes, you had to name the compound, and it was like if you got it right, you never had to do it again. I never got that right. Like I never ever got those.
No, same because like in my section, we had different sections of chemistry, but and you had to get like a 9 out of 10 or higher
Yes, yeah.
to do it. And I would get an 8 out of 10 every fucking time. Like,
I just started to give up, honestly. Like I think on my last two chem exams, I had like 2 out of 10 or something, and I was like, I don't even care anymore.
well,
I'm trying.
they were worth 1 point. Like, am I gonna spend like 2 hours trying to memorize the name and maybe get like 2 extra points, or am I gonna learn this titration problem that's worth 30? Like,
Wait, yep,
which is a whole other issue. Going back to like my original story, we walked in to that chemistry exam, and I always felt out of place because three of the four people of our friend group, like Olivia and the two other people, were in the same room, and I was by my motherfucking self. And so I was like, okay, here we go. And like I go in there, it's awful. It's like the worst. It's absolutely the worst. And then we go to Taco Bell afterwards, as you do.
yep.
And I'm drowning myself in nachos and be like, I'm just ready to sleep in tomorrow. And Olivia goes over to me like, bitch, you know we got bio tomorrow. And I was just like, motherfucker. Like I honestly like, and I'm great at bio, but like the nerve.
Really. I mean, honestly, it's just you are really good at bio. I feel like you're really good at bio, any type of science, like in that realm. Like even all your classes with, I can't remember his name, but you know what professor I'm talking about.
Yeah,
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 you
yeah.
know who I'm talking about. Even in those classes, though, I feel like you always like you ended up doing great because you're just like that topic and that subject. You're just so good with it.
I
Um,
know.
but yeah, that bio, that bio exam. I mean, it's true. Own it. Like seriously, that
I'm sorry. That sounds so shitty. Like you're great. I know.
well, because you are though. Like it's good that you recognize that because that subject, I know, but that freshman year, I mean, just after that chem exam, you're just sitting there wallowing, like eating Taco Bell, and it's just like, damn, bro, we got to do it all again tomorrow morning for bio now.
I swear, freshman year felt like war, honestly.
Literally, it was so bad.
And here's the tea. And like, as someone who went to a private school for undergrad and a state school for their masters who like had to teach like some undergrad stuff, No tea, no shade. Both are great educations. I'm I'm a firm believer in public education. I believe that. I don't want this to get misconstrued. However, private school is 10 fucking times harder. Like it's not even ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous.
That is so, I will agree with that because even though I'm a little jaded because I did private school for undergrad and I did private school for grad school. So I really just hated myself a lot. And that's why I did that to myself. I'll agree with that though, because I had friends who were at other like large non-private institutions and like they would I would talk to them about what we were doing, and they're just like, that sounds horrible. Like, I don't have to do that. And I'm like, wow, I wish I could relate so hard right now to you because we have to do this awful, awful stuff. And I feel like, too, it's just like with where we went to school, it's so small that it's like you can't catch a break because if you're not in class, they know, like, they check on you and like all this stuff. There's just so many things that
Yeah.
make it harder.
It was so weird. It was like the closeness and attentiveness of like high school
Yes.
mixed with brutal comprehensive. And I want to stress this. Like this makes it sound like we were bad students. We really weren't. We
No.
really
Yeah.
weren't. And it was just a lot of material. And like I had a cousin who literally was like we were both in the same majors because like I was a biochem major like the first 3 years. Stupid for me, stupid when I was literally gifted at bio, but horrible at chemistry. But I was just like, it's fine. And I was the writing, I could read anything, but I could not read the fucking room. Um, so he was like on the same, like wanted to go to medical school, same as me. And do you remember fucking like second semester of bio, like we were looking about like the different proteins like in the cell wall, like on the electron transport chain.
Yes.
Okay, we started learning that like second semester, like 3 quarters into the year, maybe halfway into the year, we started learning that. Okay, he didn't even get to that until cell bio, which is like 2 levels
That
ahead.
phrase, see, that stuff blows my mind. And then you go to grad school with these people and they like you feel, which honestly you probably feel pretty good because you're like you feel ahead a little bit. But like you'll go to grad school with people who have never heard of things that you've learned and you're like, what? Or they just like don't comprehend it on the same level. And it's not even their fault. It's just like, why did I have to learn this so early, but they didn't? And you know what I mean? It's like crazy.
Yeah, I really think that like it was so intense.
Hmm.
And it's just 4 years of intensity. I really say this, like if you can do well at Hanover, you can do well anywhere.
I agree with that, honestly, because when I jumped into PT school, I was like distraught. And then I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do with this. Like, it's very fast paced and all this stuff. And it honestly wasn't that bad. I was just like, I don't know if it's just because Hanover was so bad during undergrad that this doesn't seem that bad to me or what it was, but it really didn't feel that bad. I mean, it sucked because it's grad school, but it
Yeah.
wasn't it wasn't awful though. I mean, it wasn't like I was, getting my and like MD stuff. Like it wasn't that bad, honestly. It was okay.
Yeah. No, that's how I felt. Like I went and just like full disclosure here, like I had a 3.3 graduating from Hanover, which really is not bad. Like not bad.
That is not, I always told myself, I was like, I just want to be like above a three. Honestly, anything above a three, I'm like, okay, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, I really wanted honors, but we were like going to school during a pandemic. I was like, the people are dying. Like we're doing fine.
It was crazy.
Like not to sound awful, but like you know what I mean.
No, it's so true though. And I mean, like that really messed up stuff for, especially I feel like people who are pre-med or in any type of science or STEM like major, like trying to learn um what class was it that I had to take? I had to take one of my classes online, and I just remember thinking, like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to learn this online. And it was all about like body, it was basically like body mechanics and like physics, but for the body. And it was horrible trying to take it online because I was like, I don't even understand what's going on. But because that was like my senior year too. So I was just like, I guess I just have to suck it up and do it because that's all we can do right now. But it was crazy.
Literally. And like kind of like build off that. Like so you literally in the trenches. Because mentally, like I don't know a single person whose mental health did great under the pandemic.
No.
So you're battling the bad mental health that comes from being a college student on top of being in the pandemic, along with like an intensive program. And like I say like it was intensive because it was, and like it's not a read or anything. Like it just was. Like it was like so much more in-depth things than a lot of program did. But that's kind of what you wanted from that.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I'm just being honest, not everyone could make it at Hanover. Like you just didn't.
No, and it's really not. And I used to think like freshman year, I was like, damn, like there's a lot of people that like dropped or like transferred or did all this stuff. And the further I got through at Hanover, the more I was like, I get it. Like this shit is not for everyone. And that is so fair. Like I have no shade or no tea or anything, nothing regarding those people. It's just like, I get it. It's awful. It's just awful.
Yeah. And I really think like what keeps like Hanover students so close is the trauma in a way. Like not like I'm being so real. Like don't get me wrong, like I'm very grateful for my time at Hanover. Like I ain't gonna lie, I was done dirty by some things. I mean, like we all were, but like
Multiple times.
multiple times by different people.
Yes.
And most of the time it wasn't even the students, but but it's not about me.
It's so true though. It's just so true.
I know. You were like quiet for like facts. And I was like, I know you ain't just gonna leave me hanging here saying all this shit.
So facts. Like I love Hanover too. Like I always, joke about it and say how awful it was. But at the end of the day, I mean, like it was a good school. I learned a lot and I mean I liked it enough to do my grad school through it. So it was like it was good. There was just like Jacob said, it's just I think the trauma keeps the students together almost and makes them stronger.
I know, and like honestly, but like I feel like you could call up and if you knew anybody in Hanover, if you like called them up or texted them, they would still talk to you because it's
Oh,
just
for sure.
like it's a for life thing, man. Like
It
fuck.
really is. They're like because even I mean, like we haven't talked in a while, not for any like bad reason. We've just been busy.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
but then
that's
when-
cool.
exactly. But then when you texted me and we kind of talked a little bit, it was normal. It wasn't weird. It was just like a normal conversation. And I feel like that's just part of being who we are, but also just part of like Hanover, like being at Hanover together and experiencing all the stuff we did is
Um,
easy to kind of reconnect and talk and all of that.
Literally. And like I feel like just like want to attribute a little bit that to like our personalities because I feel like that's also part of it. But
Sure.
I also think that like when like you go to a school that small, you're close with like a lot of people anyways. And then I'm just being so real with y'all. Like no one goes through college without like at least seven big mental breakdowns. Like I like
For sure.
so like just like having and I feel like the people there when like you're really going through like a tough time, like you never forget that. And there's always like that special place for people like with you.
Yeah. And because it's just so small that like once you find your people, it's great. Like you have them and it's very secure feeling and it's just, it's not so disconnected like I feel like a bigger school would be probably.
Yeah. And it's a bond for life. And like, I mean, and I know like I'm like the first one to be like, yo, this was a yikes. But like I were to go back in time, I would do it all again.
I
Things differently, but I would do it all but I would do it all again.
I agree, honestly, just because even though it was a little crazy, but like I love the people I met. I had good times. I mean, it being ended up being great in the long run, honestly, for me in terms of like continuing education and stuff. Um, But yeah, I agree. Maybe do a couple things different, but I would love to experience a lot of the same stuff again.
Yeah. I would never go back for another bachelor's, but like that's why I said like, and if we were going back to like 18-year-olds, like we would do like that's what I would do.
Yeah, I'm done. That's it. Love Hanover. I've had my fun time. I'm all done though.
Yeah.
Not going back.
Yeah, no more degree. This is my last degree I'm doing. Like
Fair. Yeah, you really are you're grinding through school though. Like I just see your posts and I'm like, I feel like Jacob just graduated, but now he's back in school again. And I'm like, damn, like that's crazy, but also amazing. Just like you
I'm
are grinding though.
I'm the jujube of college.
Facts.
No one who watches this podcast is gonna know that reference. But the girls who get it, that's gonna be the funniest thing.
Best way. It's just that's so true. But I mean, you're really killing it though. It's honestly very impressive.
Dude, you're killing it. You got a whole ass doctorate right now.
Yeah, but at what cost? At what cost financially and emotionally to get it? I always joke with people, I'm like, it's great, but oh man, it just was a lot.
Oh my gosh. That was Oh, that sent me. Oh God. I hope the mic didn't pick that up because that was just embarrassing how funny that was to me. Like but it's like that scene in Avengers Endgame be like, "Did you do it? But at what cost?"
What cost? So true though. I mean, I'm sure you feel that way honestly about some of your education just because you've been in it for so freaking long.
Oh, loading degree number 4.
Literally, like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh. I tell people that and like people are like, "Why are you still in school?" And I was like, "You know what? Good fucking question."
Wish I knew. Like it's just I feel like too, like that's why I did an accelerated grad program because I was like, there's no way I'm gonna make it 3 years. I barely made it 2 years. I was like, no way I could do 3 more years.
Okay, but like that was actually crazy. Like doing all that.
It's so worth it though, honestly. Like it sucked, but
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, if you're gonna do it and they offer it for what you want to do an accelerated program. Like if you think you can, mentally handle it, like you have this support emotionally, I recommend doing it. If you are a hot mess like I am, I made it through. So you can do it. It's possible. It's just going to be really hard.
Yeah, no. That's so important though. Like I feel like emotional support is so important for like no matter what stage of academia you're at, whether it's your best friends who are just as down bad mentally as you're going through it, a partner who like may also be down bad, but you know you're in it together, and like family, like whatever, like that supportive professor, coach,
Yes.
whatever. I just think that like if you could be at 0% like to give, but if you're just like, I got you, dude. I'm with you, dude. Like, I'm just down bad. Like, I feel like once you like pull away the like illusion that you have to have it all together,
Mhm.
that just lets people in. And like, I'm being so for real. Like, when you're in an intense program, you ain't got no fucking energy to keep up that illusion.
Oh, for real. And I used to, like, my family for the longest time would be like, why don't you ever go out? Like, why don't, like, why are you so tired all the time? And I'm like, it's not even that I'm physically tired, it's that I am mentally exhausted. Like, picking up my phone and texting someone back is like, it requires a lot of energy. And once you you're just so focused in on something like school like that, it gets like that. You just start to get to a point where you're like so tired. And then having those people, though, that understand that and they're there and they're like, supporting you helps a lot with it. But you just get to a point, I feel like, where even just like answering a phone call, you're like, I can't even do that right now. Like, I'm just so tired.
No, literally. And like, and again, with you, like, it's not even like the physicality of
Yeah.
it's just because there'd be days where like you and I literally be like, we got a bio exam. I'll see you at 9 a.m. And we would literally go to the library or like a room, and like our group would, or like the bio or like the science center, and like just rock out studying for hours on end.
Hours.
And it would be like we wouldn't even like hang out or whatever. Like we would just literally be studying in there. But like it felt as awful as it is, like there's no better bonding than a class or a group knowing they are screwed going into like a final or an exam or something.
That is so true, though. I feel like one of the biggest things with like school is when you feel alone, like you feel like you're alone in something, it's awful. But then when there's several people who feel the exact same way and they come together, you're just like, okay, this is still bad, but it's not as bad as it could be.
The real silver linings playbook.
Like it's not as bad as it could be.
Literally. So Olivia, like obviously, like we both agree, having like the support of people in your corner just means the world. So, girl, I gotta ask, for those of you who don't know, like Olivia went to undergrad to pursue PT.
Yes.
Yeah, which is physical therapy, everybody. And it's so funny. My brother's like in a doctor of physical therapy program as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So like after like being friends with Olivia, I was like, I know this now.
I know about this.
I know about this. And I can say whatever I want. Luke doesn't watch my show. So, but can you like go like a little bit into like what kind of like inspired you like to pursue that path like for undergrad, like for be pre-PT?
Yeah, so I did student athletic training in high school and I loved it. I loved working with the athletes. And then I did it again in undergrad at Hanover. And I loved it, but I knew I was like, I don't want to be an athletic trainer. That's not like my vibe, really. And so I kind of started to look into like what I could do that was similar, but not exactly the same thing. And originally, I wanted to keep working with athletes, and I found PT, and I was like, oh, like this sounds amazing. I love this. And so I kind of started to pursue that and push down that pathway for like my education. And then I found out that they have pelvic PT, and I did not know that that was a thing. And so I started to kind of research it on my own and see like what it was really about. And I just loved it. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go to PT school, and then once I'm done, I'm going to get my certification so I can do this because it sounds amazing. And then I shadowed some PTs and loved it and just kind of stuck with it. Just something I really liked.
That's so cool. And I'm so glad you brought up something that I just want to emphasize to our audience. Shadow people. Not
Yeah.
even in the health profession. See if you can shadow like a like engineer, an electrician, a chemist, a biologist, or like even interview like your professors and get like the real tea. Like
Yes. Yes. I will say, like, I knew I wanted to do something similar to like athletic training, and then I found PT. And so I kind of stuck with that and shadowed a bunch of PTs. But I also got to see and kind of shadow like occupational therapy and speech therapy. And that was amazing because I was really able to kind of weed out that, like, yes, PT is what I want to do. I don't like see myself in those. But if you just shadow, and like people are open to it too. Like if you reach out, people will let you shadow them just to see kind of if that's what you really want to do.
literally. And also like if it's out of school, they get like training pay and they don't have to deal with like a bunch of like admin stuff. So like it could be a win-win scenario for everybody.
Yeah.
Now, so girl, like as you know, like we did undergrad and you talked about it a little bit, but given your experience with Hanover,
Yeah.
girl, what was the tea that made you like choose to go to them for your doctorate as well?
That's such a good question. I love that. So when I graduated from Hanover for undergrad, I had a 3.6 GPA, and then thank you. And then
Period.
had I had a 3.6 GPA, and then I did super bad on my GRE. and like very bad. Like I was like embarrassed. And so when I was applying for schools and stuff, I was kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna see what happens, and Hanover is gonna be like my fallback. That was like that was my original thought process. And so I was like, I feel like I know I can get into Hanover, like it'll be fine. So I was applying to other schools, and then I applied to Hanover, and I ended up getting in to Bellarmine, which is a school in Kentucky, and they have a really good PT program. And I was shook because I was like, what? And so it was like between Bellarmine and Hanover, and I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was just like, okay, do I really want to do 3 more years of school? And then I was also kind of struggling with, if I did do a different school, I would have to move and I would have to start over in a brand new place that I wasn't super familiar with. And I am very, like, I'm a homebody. Like, I don't like to kind of branch out that much and leave like where I'm comfortable. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, and mind you, this was Hanover's first year as like their first grad program, first anything like that. So we were the very first class to go through. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do Hanover. It's only 2 years. I'm familiar with it. I'm comfortable with it. Um, it still was expensive, so that didn't matter either way. But uh, and so I was like, I'm comfortable with it. I'm just going to keep doing it. And then I also got like a tidbit of information that Dr. Jax, our anatomy professor from undergrad, was going to go to the DPT program as well. So, like the physical therapy program, and he was leaving undergrad and going with them. And I was like, yes, because I took physiology with him, and like I was familiar with him too. So I was like, I feel like when I do this again during PT school, it won't be as bad because I've already had it. It was still bad, but it was comfortable because I had him before, so it wasn't as bad, but it was still rough. So it was, honestly, for me, it was more like a comfort thing. I wasn't really ready to like push myself to leave Indiana or like do anything crazy. And I also kind of didn't even think I would get the chance to do it because I didn't think I would get accepted somewhere else. And then when I did, I like really fought with myself for a couple of weeks trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And shout out to Dr. Winky at Hanover because she was my advisor and she's amazing. And she kind of told me, she was like, just do what, you're most comfortable with and like what you think will be best for you. And I did Hanover because I was like, all right, I'm comfortable with Hanover. We'll see how it goes. And it ended up being good. I liked it. Like the program was good. It wasn't that bad. It was hard, but you kind of expect that with Hanover undergrad.
Right. Honestly, though, that's so valid because like you already knew the belly of the beast and like
Exactly.
you knew what to expect in a way, like as much as you could.
Yeah. And I feel like when you jump from undergrad, like grad school is a whole new ballpark. Start
Literally.
there. But when you jump from undergrad to grad school, for me, I wanted to make that transition as easy as possible because I already was exhausted and burnout and tired from undergrad at Hanover. And I was like, if I take a gap year, take a break, I'm not going back.
Mhm.
So I was like, I need to make this transition as easy as possible, just kind of jump into what I know will be okay. And that's like what kind of really what pushed me to choose that.
Honestly, it's so valid. And I feel you on the break. That's why I literally is like associates at 17, bachelor's at 22, master's at 23.
Yeah.
Everything that is the way that it goes, PhD at 28. Like I just knew kind of like minute that you let yourself breathe, you're like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
That's so true. It's almost like kind of the only thing I could really like describe it as is if you're working out, right? And you're like halfway through your workout and you're exhausted and you're tired and you want to stop. But you know that if you don't stop and you just keep going and finish, you'll feel amazing afterwards. But if you do stop, you're like done. Like you're gonna feel exhausted, you're gonna feel tired, you're gonna feel like shit because you didn't finish your workout. It's like that's what I could compare it to, is like you're just you just hit that point. And so for me, I was like, I just got to push through. I got to finish the mile, like just do it and get it done with.
Literally. And is that like part of the reason why? And like you said, you did an accelerated program.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
can you explain it to the audience a little bit about like like how it's accelerated compared to like other programs for those who may not know?
Yes. So Hanover's physical therapy, like their doctor of physical therapy program, is an accelerated hybrid program. And so what that means is instead of it being like a normal 3 year long physical therapy program, it's 2 years. You don't have like breaks, like you don't get like a summer break or anything like that. You just go year round. And then the hybrid portion is it's like part online, part in person. So we would do coursework and things like that online for a couple weeks, and then we would meet for like 2 weeks and do like intense accelerated labs for 2 weeks, and then we would go back to being online and things like that.
Nice, nice, nice. So, and you may have missed it because like my brain it just like did not compute. I'm so sorry. Can you break it down like how much time that's saved doing an accelerated program as opposed to like a regular length program?
So what I would say is it in your first year of like an accelerated DPT program, you are bombarded with like coursework. You do coursework for a couple weeks and you do labs. And then the second year is like half coursework, half clinicals. In a regular physical therapy program, it would be coursework for the first year, coursework for the second year, and then your clinicals are kind of saved for the third year. So this just knocked out literally an entire year where you wouldn't be able to practice or things like that. Um, Whereas like in another program, you would still be going through clinicals and stuff like that during that entire like third year.
Honestly, so valid. Like my brother, he got like a direct admit. So like he did 3 years of undergrad and then his last year is like his first year of PT school, which like he takes classes and it helps like finish out both graduate program requirements. It helps him finish graduate level requirements and his last year of college. So he graduates college this year, but he's already in grad school technically right now.
Gotcha.
So it's
See, that is really probably like very similar to what an accelerated program would be because he's already got a head start
yeah,
on the grad.
yeah. So I'm like, this sounds like very like similar, just different.
Is his grad then 3 years? Like it's technically, or is it like like how many years would it be altogether?
6. So it's like 3 and 3, but like
Yeah, yeah,
the fourth year, the fourth year of undergrad and the first year of grad school are like one and the same.
fine. Yeah, see, that's really similar to honestly what I did. Like in terms of time wise,
Yeah.
probably would have rather done what he did, honestly, but still fair.
Yeah, but like, Hanover didn't have that yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No. But that's so cool though that you're the first class of the program. Like,
Pretty cool, honestly. It was interesting because it was very like trial and error with us. And we also didn't have accreditation. So it was like if we didn't get accredited, we couldn't graduate. And so literally the entire 2 years that we were going through the program, it was them like making sure they had their stuff together so that we could get accreditation. And that was like a very big kind of part of our class. And then finally, I think like a week before we were walking for graduation, we got accredited. And so they were very happy about that.
dude, Hanover keeping you sweating till the fucking end.
Horrible. Yeah, it was very stressful because I think it's like if you don't get accredited, you have to figure out what like the problem areas were in your program. And for example, say we didn't get accredited because our anatomy class didn't meet like the criteria for accreditation, we would have to retake anatomy at like a sister school. So like at a different school that was also an accelerated program that was accredited so that we could graduate.
Damn.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Like, I bet everyone was just sweating fucking bullets to be like, yo, like this, we walk in a week. Where's the accreditation?
Yeah, honestly, it was crazy.
Honestly, I swear, I tell it to anybody, no matter how well you prepare, your institution will always keep you guessing until the fucking end.
Yeah,
I have
something.
I've got PTS fucking D. That's why like unless I receive like 15 different confirmations in writing, I don't trust nothing.
Exactly. And honestly, it's safer to live that way. So,
I know. I'm so annoying about it though, because like my mom's just like, "Can you chill?" I was like, "No, I've never been chill ever."
like, I literally cannot chill. That's not.
You know
And
what happens when I chill? Bad things happen.
exactly, yes.
No, but like that's so cool though. Like, so I just want to remind everyone, Olivia's like such a fucking young doctor. It's insane. Tell the hoes how old you are. Tell the hoes how old you are.
So I just turned 24 in June. Oh, that was pretty cool. Gemini, my fellow Gemini, Jacob.
Hey, hey, sis.
Also, why we get along so well. But
Honestly, just the energies are just like, yeah.
yeah, so I had just turned 24 when I like officially graduated, which was pretty cool. Um, and so yeah, that was nice. It feels weird though to like have your doctorate and be 24. Like I feel it almost feels kind of odd.
And like that's so cool though. That's awesome. That's so
No,
awesome. Be so proud of yourself, man. Like I know how
oh,
hard you worked.
thank you.
You're
That's
welcome.
so sweet.
Welcome. And now I'm gonna not to make it about me, but like I am always like so proud of like people like you, like getting their doctorates, going after what they want, love it. And then my brother, I'm obviously so proud of him, but I'm so pissed as well because he's getting his doctorate first. I was like, you batted out of order, dog.
Facts. It's crazy though. Like I get what you mean. It's just you see it and you're like, damn, like I'm still grinding, still in school.
I know. Like if if things go on time as they should, I should get my doctorate when I'm 28. And then I'm done. And then I'm
That's
done.
good though. To me, honestly, like I mean, getting your doctorate's your doctorate. So no matter what age you do that, that's some boss ass stuff. But like 28 to me, that's not bad at all. I feel like that's very reasonable, especially for what you're doing though, too.
That's the girl who got hers at 24.
But I mean, I feel like, so what do you want to do with your doctorate though?
I want to be like a professor,
Hmm.
but yeah.
That's fair. If you're going to educate our our future, I feel like 28 is a safe age. That's a good age like to have to get your doctorate. 'Cause then you really know your shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, not really. I just be making it up as I go along. No, literally, I'm being so for real right now. Like, I graduated during a pandemic with my bachelor's. I graduated during like in the middle of a fucking teacher strike in my master's program.
So true. I didn't even think about that.
So like, if anyone has like a rough time in academia, it's me. So like,
Fact. Fair.
well, and so like, I've fully just genuinely seen everything that I hate in it, and I really want to just actively combat that.
Good. See, that's amazing though. Like, I feel like this is gonna sound so stupid, but I feel like when people have bad stuff happen to them, and it could just be in their life or like in academia, for example, in general, it makes them better at what they do and like what they're passionate towards. Like, you're gonna be a really like you'll be a great ass professor because of all that crap. So that's like really awesome though.
Dude, you're gonna be like, I mean, you may already be. Like, I'm not sure like how that timeline works, but like you're gonna be an awesome PT man. Like you're so chill. Like you get to like people to open up to you. And like I really feel like we don't stress this enough. Obviously, having like the book smarts and the knowledge is so important, but having like the bedside manner to like treat people in the medical field, I think it's just so slept on because like you obviously can like work on that a little bit, but you just gotta have like the people skills to make people comfortable. So like that, and obviously like you're very smart, obviously. Like I don't want that to be misconstrued by any means. But like having that like vulnerability to like let people like in and feel comfortable with you, I think really does help the healing process. Like, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. And I also think like if you want to do anything medical, honestly, anything where you're working with people in general, but especially like medical related, you have to have like good bedside manner. Like you have to. It's such a huge part of it. It's such a huge part of getting accepted into a program. Like, yes, they want you to be smart, but they also want you to have those um like features and the like those traits of someone who can talk with patients. Like I'm not a super into golf, but I could sit there with a patient while I'm working with them for an hour and talk about all the golf they want, as long as that's what they like, you know? So you
Yeah.
have to have people that can do that and kind of be that person for them.
Yeah. You're gonna kick ass, man. I'm so excited and proud of you. You got this.
Thank
I've
you.
One thing about Olivia is like I've obviously like had concern for Olivia like as a person, like is she doing well? But as far as like a professional, I've never worried about Olivia.
I feel
And
that same way about you, actually.
you should definitely worry. I am a hot mess. I am like a walking caution flag. Like yikes. But I appreciate that. But no, like I just really like you've always had like this is gonna sound weird and like I don't mean it and such, but you've had like this humility about you to admit that like you're not perfect, but you've had like the confidence and drive be like, I'm still amazing and I'm still gonna work on this, but like I'm not better than you, but like I deserve this thing. And I love that mentality. And I I don't want to say like I wish more people had that because like I think that's part of what makes you you. But I feel like if more people had that traits, like it would just be I think people would be so much happier. And I really feel like it just that's just so cool to me. Like how you've always like admitted that kind of like I'm capable, not saying that I'm better than you, but I definitely don't deserve less than you attitude. And I love that. That was just always so cool to me.
So sweet. That's probably one of the nicest things someone said about me, honestly. Um, I just think my biggest thing is like know your worth. Like you are worth what you think you're worth. So if you are trying to downplay yourself, then that's how you're gonna feel all the time. So just always, give yourself the benefit of the doubt, trust yourself, and believe that you can do more than what you might think you can do.
No. And at worst case scenario, just believe in delusion. I mean, like Delulu has gotten me here. I've got 3 degrees. So
Like honestly, like so now that I'm out of school, I am working with patients and stuff.
period. She's employed and blessed.
But I will say that even sometimes now working with patients, there'll be times where I feel a little stumped, but it's very like kind of fake it till you make it, right? So try things out, trust that you know what you're doing to your core, like deep down, and it'll be fine. And if it's not fine, like Jacob said, just delusion. It works.
Just delusion. I'm working on degree number 4, man. And like 2 of the degrees I didn't even pay for. Well, 3 of the degrees I didn't even pay for. So like you know what I mean? Just but
But
that one though,
yeah, facts. Oh god.
that one though will get you. Um, oh my gosh. No, Olivia, I just want to ask, like, if you could go back in time and give advice to your freshman year self, your post-graduated undergrad self, and your post-graduated grad school self. I know that's relatively recent. Or like out of either one of those, what is the best piece of advice you would give to yourself at that moment?
I honestly, I think the biggest thing, this is going to sound crazy, but I would say the biggest thing is just if you I would tell all of them this. If you want something bad enough, you'll get it. It's going to happen. You will get it. You just have to put the work in. And I like would tell myself that freshman year, I'd be like, just put in the work and you'll get what you want. Like, just try. Because I've always had this thing and it's still like continuing in my life. Like, I still feel this way. I'm just always like, I'm never gonna get that end point, that goal. And then once I reach that goal, I'm always like, damn, like I did that. And then I push it even further and make it even more difficult and set something new. And it's just, I wish I could give myself more confidence, like give myself a pep talk and be like, hey, like you can do this. You'll be fine. It's going to suck and you're going to have to work really hard, but you'll still get it in the end. Like, just kind of give myself that confidence boost that I feel like I needed at each of those chapters just to push myself even further.
I love that. That's so cool. What a realized answer from a boss ass bitch herself. Well, Olivia, I just want to say again, thank you for joining us on the podcast today. Or should I say Dr. Elson?
Oh my God. No, you do not have to say that. But thank you for having me. This was really fun. I liked it. It was good to talk, honestly.
Honestly, like this is gonna sound awful, but like one of the reasons why I love doing this, obviously, is like telling stories, but also like it gives me like a reason to like reach out and contact people to hang out with them, like in a way, because I'm so like in my head that like I don't want to text them because I'm bothering them.
Oh
Kind of
my gosh, that's so real though. Like, it's just you feel that way, and it's like, and then the other person probably feels the same way. So they don't ever, so then you lose contact with people. But this was really great, honestly. This was awesome. And it was
thanks.
talk.
Yeah, thank you for joining. I hope are you oh, this is probably like not as much of a flex to you, but like if you ever go back to homecoming, you can be like, it's Dr. Elson now to like all the professors. That's gonna be so me. When I get my doctorate, I'm gonna like walk up and I mean not to Dr. Hubs, because like
No, but to
love,
that,
love,
that
love her. But certain ones, I'm be like, it's Dr. Watts to you, please.
yes, as you should, honestly.
Oh my gosh. Well, Olivia, before we go, do you have any social media where people can like keep up with you and your story and your life or anything? Are you on Instagram?
I am on Instagram. It's just Olivia period Elson.
Period. And obviously Olivia's Instagram and socials will be linked below. So be sure to follow up. And if you're ever needing of a PT, you heard it here first.
Repeat.
I mean, no discounts yet because we got debt, but build up, build up. We go on that loyalty like over certain years, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, girl, as always, I hope you know I'm so proud of you. Love you. Thank you for joining. And to all those at home, remember, you'll get through it. Or if not, the world's on fire. Who's going to notice if you fudge it up a little bit?
Correct.
As always, I'm your host, Jacob Watts. And as always, I'm underpaid. Good night, everyone. Bye.